at these Hollywood hibiscus. They have bloomed like this all year long. And they just keep blooming. Look at all the new blooms. Sorry I got a little late on the time. Kind of a long story. Ooh, I imagine everybody ran off because it's taking forever. I was on the phone with the guy that owns that company I was working for that stupid tree we did the live feeds and stuff for. And hang on, I gotta keep around here. Well, he says he calls me. He's all worked up and mad. And he says sends me a bunch of text messages talking about this fire pit and that the customer said that I hit a fire pit and messed it up, and so I think he's already, he paid me, and so he's worried that I'm gonna argue the point and be a jerk and stuff. What's up, Chris? So he calls. I was like, yeah, I Jake, kind of while we were doing it, I don't know if you guys can remember that big tulip poplar. Right on the back side of it in the neighbor's yard was a huge oak tree that it was into. Well, Jake said he didn't even move it. He said, I tried to move the fire pit, but it was so rotten when I went to move it, it was going to fall apart. So that was, you don't pick it up and it falls apart, just leave it there. But I couldn't see it. So I did. When I hit it, it just kind of crumbled. A piece of wood went down, bounced, and rolled into it. So when I did it, I can't like not tell the customer. So I went over and he says, oh, the neighbors are going to be so happy, this, that. And I was like, well, they may be a little mad. Hang on, let me show you something. I was like, I bumped their little fire pit here. And it's just one of them little fire pits that goes into a little smokestack. I think you can get them pretty cheap. But I said, I bumped that, and if I need to buy another one, just, let me know. Here's my card. When I do this is my responsibility, and anything that happens, I kind of take on. So, let me know. He says, oh, no, they ain't going to worry about it. They'll be happy to have all this done because they had big old dead hanging branches over the top of their place and shed in their whole backyard. He's like, oh, they'll be happy. Well, apparently they called the guy I worked for and just flipped and said, you better order me one online or send me $300 or... So, yeah, barely end up making pennies on that job. But the customer told me, he said, don't worry about it. So I told him when he called, I was like, no, I did. I bumped it. And, and I'll pay for it. No big deal. It is what it is. You can't, if you're going to get into this, and especially if you're going to kind of go off on your own and do it and you don't want to have a boss, you have to be, and I guess this goes with any business, if you want to start your own kind of stuff, you have to be okay with losing sometimes. You can't win everything. Every day can't be, a trip to the bank. And I don't really have very many of those anyway. So. But, that's just kind of the way it is. What's Chris saying? He said we had to replace a part of a driveway this week from tree work. Yeah, I mean, kind of stuff happens. Yeah, you definitely gotta be able to take that good with the bad. If you're not okay with losing sometimes, or maybe you don't lose, maybe you just don't win, you have to be okay with that. And just, appreciate what you were, able to get done. I knew that I was doing that for, like, pennies, pennies on the dollar as it was, but it was to try to help somebody. And then in the process, I lost basically the profit that I would end up with on it. So it is what it is. I'm a little kind of bummed right now, but you gotta take care of especially gotta take care of your mistakes. So I'm gonna forget about that. that's why I started late. So anybody that's mad at me, don't be mad. I'm late to everything. So you kind of, if you enjoy this channel, you probably kind of get a little used to it. Cause I'll be late to my own funeral. All right. I have. Oh, right on, Chris. Yeah, I love this shirt. It's about as simple as they get. I'm gonna steal one of their logos and we'll do some steel-born shirts. The guy I work for, his wife has like a clothing shop, so she said she'll make all the shirts that we need. Anybody that wants to, anybody that's like that watches this channel that's good at designing as far as logos and wants to design a logo that has like a steel logo but is steel born, I'll give you some free merch if it ends up being good or something. Find a way to email me and you know, because I do need to get that together, but I don't really have the time for it. So. But I just had shirts done. Yeah, I need to have our work shirts done again. Poor Jake doesn't have but a couple. And I'm gonna switch the colors. We're gonna do black shirts with that green lettering, kind of like how the hoodies were. But I have okay at my new place. I have a shed there at the new place. It We're getting ready to do some tree work in just a second. We're gonna cut down a tree. So I have this my work shed that we'll do all of our videos and stuff out of, and you know the live feeds and just work in general. So it has an addition onto it, and the addition is starting to separate from the actual shed because the front beam had rotted out and had dropped down, and it was only on some bricks or something. I don't really know what all I have to do, but I know I have to replace the front beam and lift the building back up there and close the gaps before I can really start to fix things and then fix the floor. So my game plan actually is to take this cedar tree right here, and I'm going to turn this into a floor joist beam for the floor and lift the building up. Maybe I'll do a live feed when I do that. Need to put long below. Really? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it dropped so, because the other part of it was fine. I don't know. I don't know. I'll replace what I got to replace, and I need to get it lifted up so I can get the ground leveled out and, you know, get it flat and then just start burying bricks and stuff. So it's going to be a long process, but yeah, I'm going to get into that. Probably do some videos on that. Crimin19. Hey man, loving the videos. Keep it. Oh, right on. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's moving because the ground freezes and thaws. Yeah, I don't even. It just rotted the beam out. The bricks are still all there, but the beam itself rotted out. It held moisture. It was a bad wood. Don't really know what the reasoning behind that is, but something happened there, and the whole front floor joist just rotted out. But see, I have these enormous kilns, like to cook pottery and stuff in. There's two enormous kilns in this shed that were left with the house. They still work. They still work really good, and so I'm gonna get them out of there. And they're weighing that addition. I think they broke the addition down because they weigh so much. So that's what I'm thinking it probably was, along with maybe a bad board that just rotted out too quick. So I'm going to take this cedar, I'm going to turn that into a floor joist that goes across and then lift the house up with it, or the shed addition up with it, with like floor jacks, or I don't know, maybe I can get house jacks. And then the rest of it that goes up there, all up there, I'm going to use some of it for like my mailbox pole and stuff like that. So I'll kind of show you guys as I do it. But it's one of these trees that, let me show you kind of what we got going on here. Let me read that comment real quick first. This is a bad angle. That sun is killing me. There's a huge spider web. Alright. There now. Yeah. I'm doing a lot over on this side hard you can tell. Alright, now, you should be able to see that now. Let me check that comment. Hey, when you first started, what's a good 1-ton budget truck for tree work? I like older trucks, but I just run all my stuff through a pickup truck, and my pull behind my 16 foot. It's an 18-foot homemade tandem that I use, and just use my pickup truck in it. But I mean, we always had 1-tons, old Chevy 1-tons and Fords growing up, and you can slap some racks on them. You can put a dump bed on them, and you can start to grow off those trucks and make things easier on yourself. So, you know, an older truck would be probably fine to start out with. But okay, this is what I got. You can see this cedar here goes up all the way to, that's it there, it goes all the way up. But if you look here, no problem, Grandma. I'm gonna try to, I've got these tied back, these bushes here, these little ornamentals. So we've got them tied back, so we're gonna sneak it hopefully through them and out this direction. But I started thinking the other day, a lot of you tree guys maybe don't have, oh, Megadose, what's up, buddy? That's what I got, at 81, 1-ton dump bed, awesome, cool. Greetings from Pacific Northwest, all right. You guys got them good trees out there, them beacons. So, what I started thinking is probably not everybody has a maze dam rope puller. You know, some of you tree guys have your regular tree gear, and I wanted to show you a way that you can make like a homemade tree jack. I'm going to do another video where I can show you the cheapest possible tree jack that you can make yourself. That's very, very strong, and I actually have it already, and it will make you feel silly when you realize that you've never thought of it. So it's a pretty neat one. That'll be a video that we'll do soon. But I had 20 tons, full box with, yeah, the trucks are, older trucks are they're just, a lot of them are built better. So I wanted to set up a system here to pull this tree over. Now that has, it runs, okay, what happens is it runs over here to the tree, oh, that tree there. Which way do I gotta move my finger? Ah, there. Okay, see that pulley there? Now, it runs off that pulley, and it runs back here. And down here is a double sheave pulley and a clip that isn't closed. Oops, my bad. So, I'm not actually gonna, I didn't want to get my longer ropes out. So, when you run these double pulleys to get a 5-to-1 pulling power, you need 4 times the rope of the distance that you got to do, because you know it's got to run into it, back out, into it, back out. So it runs now from here. What we're running is a 4-to-1, because we have a 3-to-1 from this one here to, let me get this. All right, that's better. Ah. All right, to this one here. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to make it to where it captured all your progress. So this same concept can be used with a 5-to-1 and just looped around in these sheaves ones. I'm just using the gree here to capture the progress. So that's all it's really doing. It's anchored back off, and this stopper and something for me to pull on. So that's all the hand ascender's doing. The rest of it, the tree is anchored over to here, right there. So like I said, I got these tied back, and I have this base anchored, and then all the way to the top. And if you look, this thing dog legs hard. So it leans, what do we got here? Darth Mendez, what is going on? Howdy y'all. Oh, what's up, Ironwood? You're always making them. You're always here. That is awesome. Start to get used to the norms, and we can talk about stuff. Now, what I'm gonna do right now is I have this pretension, but I'm gonna take the gree and I'm gonna release all this tension and watch how much this tree moves back on you guys. I'm gonna relieve the tension off of it by just grabbing the gree trigger and letting it off. So I'll give you the view right here. Put you kind of under it here a little bit. Francisco, what's up, buddy? I'm gonna take the tension off of this here cedar, and it back leans onto us here. You can see how much pre-tension I got with just that. What we have over there is a 4-to-1 because of the additional pulley. So with a 4-to-1 and it capturing the progress, I'm gonna go ahead and release the progress right now and watch how much this comes back. So I'm pretty sure was that pretty obvious? Could you see the tension release and it pull back on you guys? You can see the lean there. Here's flat. We're on a hillside, and there's the back lean. Right on, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yep. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to preload that again. You guys can watch that. Shoot. Let's see what it's saying here. Must have moved about 5 feet or so. Yeah, with easily 5 feet. It leans back hard. And I know it's not safe to do tree work by yourself, but every guy probably does it at home by himself. But yeah, I've had many times I've done it at jobs by myself too. So this is a way for a guy to be able to cut a little bit, pull, and not lose any of his progress. Cool idea. I got an old gree. I would try it. Yeah, try it out. It's very simple, very simple. And you can get some pretty good pulling power, but what you'll see here is it doesn't run through it very good. It may be better to use, okay, at the same spot there, let me explain this. At the same spot where I'm anchoring the gree, you can use a hand ascender if you needed to, but they're aggressive, they're your rope. But you could use it. You could probably even use a foot ascender, but you can use a regular prusik and a micro pulley. And so guys usually have that equipment. So I was trying to figure a way for, a still technical way of being able to pull a tree over and keep your progress, but simple enough that most guys have this gear in their bags. A couple double sheaf pulleys, which I don't really need on this because I'm only running a 3-to-1, but this would be a 6-to-1 if I would just run enough rope, and it would give me probably double the pulling power that I have right now. So, well, close to it. So you can see here when I go to capture this progress, you almost have to pull the progress and then pull it through the gree a little bit. That's why the hand ascender, or the hand ascender's here. So what I do is I usually grab this and pull. Okay. All right. So now we try to sneak this thing through here without wrecking everything and wrecking all these other trees too. So my game plan is to kind of brush this limb. I'm worried I'm gonna break it, and kind of put it into this cedar area here where there's some dead limbs, and hopefully it just kind of pushes everything down and lifts it back up. Because if I try to, I overcompensate because it actually leans downhill, so I'm pulling to this direction, but no matter what, it's gonna go where I put my notch. So that's just a little overcompensation for the possible drift that it could do. So what's up, Greg? You made it just in time. We're about ready to see if I can, either I'm gonna wreck all my little ornamentals and my cedars and everything, or I'm gonna get lucky and sneak this cedar right at you guys. So I tell you what, you guys just want to go right here and see if it makes it through. And I hope I don't smash my phone. I don't got an impact box for it. Dang, where should I go? If you got a question, you better ask me, because I'm gonna run off. All right, I'm gonna use the 290. Yeah, and that's it. And we're gonna pull this thing over. Let's do this. I was gonna say I'm gonna high stump it, but I need all that log, so I'm gonna cut it low, and it's probably gonna get pretty close to you guys, if not hit you. So, whatever. Let's see what happens. I'll put you back after I get the cut made. I was lonely down here. Now, the reason for me widening that up is because I want this tree to stay on that stump as long as possible, and I want to see if I can swing it around these things. So I'll let it commit, it'll start to go, and then swing, hopefully. So that I can keep it out of this other little one here, because if not, it's going to break a bunch of stuff in this one too, if not just that one. Let's get it. I've went ahead and set my cut. I want to go ahead and see if I can get that in video. I do want to pre-tension a little more now. Is that going to get to the top of the tree? Not really. How about that? I stumped it a little more than I really wanted to, but I think there's enough log there for me to get. There it is. Lean there a little bit. Show you the stump. Our cedar's pretty weak. If you can see, it didn't even travel off the stump because of how slow I went. It actually, yeah, it just breaks. You know, I hear buckins say all the time their cedar's like glass. It doesn't really want to. You'll get them sometimes, depending season wise. They'll be full of sap, or you know, a healthier one would, you know, that one's not in good shape. So when you know that they're not fully healthy, they don't really hold their hinge like they should. So nice one. I gotta run. All right, Megadose. You be good, buddy. Appreciate you hanging out. Randy Limwalker, what's up, man? Yeah, Greg, we slammed it right in there. That works. If you notice, none of the little trees got messed up. I can release them now. Yeah, that ended up working pretty good. I'll release this other tree and show you how much that we had to pull on that to get that gap that we wanted. And of course, I mean, it still touched everything, but I knew that they have plenty of flex to them. I kind of checked them beforehand, you know, knew that I was going to brush them. So I think the worst thing I could have done would have been put it in the other cedar and wreck it, or one of the other cedars. So, and these little ornamental things, if you look here in this area, We had a huge uproot here before these little ornamentals were put in. A huge uproot, and it messed the root system up to the cedar. It actually lifted it up off the ground and put it at a heavy lean. And I got the ground level back out. Like, this whole area was complete storm damage, uproot, and over years and years, I just kind of little by little with a shovel and a chainsaw, I got the whole place looking like a park. So, but I like working outside. It gives me something to do. I'm not a person that needs to be sitting around. So here, yeah, let me release this one. I just put a daisy chain on it, basically. But we had a lot of tension in these little trees. I'll show you this now. It's actually surprising I didn't break something. Like, I actually expected to lose at least a few good-sized limbs. But if you look, there's the gap we just shoved it through. So, not a whole lot of space there to be putting a tree. Stupid sun. Can't see anything, can you? If I get it from this way, if I can kind of block it out. Yeah, you can see there was no space. So we more brushed it along these two instead of over to this one, because I didn't have anything on this one. These I had pulled back, so and we didn't touch that cedar at all, I don't think. And now I just need to unhook stuff. For those people that do trees, you know, removals and stuff, the reason I do the base anchor is I feel like when I need to pull a lean out, it gives me full control up the back of the tree and constant control. That's space from trunk to canopy. And on top of that, the best thing is, normal cases when you put your rope on a tree, you pull it over, you have to dig your rope out and it takes forever. But when you're base anchored, your rope's right on top. So super easy to undo your hook, which is, you guys will stay and not fall. Undo my hook. Pull it out, undo the half hitch. My rope's out. So it's that easy. I would suggest with any tree guy to try the base anchor. I've been able to use that technique a lot and kind of get it dialed in, and I can get a lot of twist on trees and like spin that you wouldn't normally get by having that through the right crotches up there and kind of giving a twist to the tree as it's pulling. So yeah, it worked out good. What are you doing with the wood? I'm gonna take the bottom, the log, and I'm gonna need to make a brace, a new floor joist for my shed, and lift the shed up because the addition's starting to fall off. So I'm gonna use it, kind of mill them full side so I can start putting them on bricks, and it'll be the floor joist to lift the place up. And I'm gonna use it for my mailbox too. One of the poles for mailbox so it matches flower beds and stuff that I put in. What are you doing? Huh?
I just wanted to say that I'd like to be at the high school around 6:30.
Oh, you gotta leave? What time is it?
It's 5. 5:20. I don't know.
He's a creeper. Yeah,
Here.
so you say hi.
You can
Say
see.
hi.
Let's see what time it is. Yeah, it's 5:30.
Okay.
Hi.
What time?
6:30.
Alright.
Because color guard starts their performance at 6:40.
Okay, I'll finish this up and get packed up.
Okay.
Alright.
Toodles.
Yeah. And you guys just feel old sometimes. I do every time she walks around. Just took down some tall, skinny locusts. Can't wait to check out some of your film. Yeah, right on. Cool, Randy. Yeah. Um, yeah, tall, skinny trees. That technique with base anchoring works so good. But your whole thing with base anchoring is you need a prominent crotch to be able to run the rope through, or it just doesn't work. So, you have to, some trees don't have, I guess some conifers and stuff would be small limbed all the way, and it's hard to keep that rope straight, or I don't know. I've been able to use the technique to my advantage a lot. After the first time that I ever climbed SRT, which has been a lot of years now, the first time I ever climbed SRT and I base anchored, or you know what? Actually, I don't even think it was SRT that I originally base anchored. It was to set a rigging setup from the ground. I base anchored on a tree and then hung the rings up in the tree so I could retrieve them. And that was when I first learned that and kind of was dialing in that, trying to make it work. And then I thought, man, that would work really good if it come time to pull a tree over. It could almost, when you got a tree and it's leaning, okay, and you go to pull here, you're gonna get a lot of bend there, kind of like that, in the tree, especially if it's got any weak points, um, odd shaped crotches, whatever. You're gonna get a bend somewhere in it, which is like compressed, tension in that specific area. Instead of, if that line ran down, that it ran all the way down the back and hooked up here, one up, come out a crotch. It's given full pull here, evenly up that whole spar. So like trees, when you feel like you have one that has a bad spot, it doesn't, it creates a bit of tension downward on the log to almost negate, like if it had a bad spot, it breaking in two, because the tension isn't so much, traveling down the trunk by itself, it's traveling down the rope too. So the trunk stays compressed instead of it trying to like transfer the energy. It's hard to explain, and I'm a hillbilly, so you guys probably aren't catching any of this, and I'm just rambling. But, oh, Jared, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm gonna get cleaned up here. Maybe cut a little bit of that, and fire up the four-wheeler, and drag the top up to the burn pile. Apparently, I gotta go take my daughter to the high school. The high school? When did I get old? Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. But hey. Alright, well, hey, I'm gonna get off here. I got some stuff to do. Um, if you haven't watched the new video, there's a new video up. I enjoyed making it. I think it came out pretty good. What? I can move it. I gotta take gear up there. I'm taking gear up here in just a second. See, they just won't let us hang out. They don't. It's rude. No, I understand. Do it sometimes. Yeah, Greg. It does. It does feel safer sometimes, doesn't it? Especially when you see that bad area in a tree, especially if it's in the actual trunk. Guys, I'm gonna get off here. I know I've said it 20 times. This time I'm really gonna do it. Bye. Thanks for hanging out.